Good morning, guys. Automotive inquiries out here in Colorado. Went from 70s to this. This is what we deal with. But I actually had some new people come to the channel and wanted to know my thoughts on gas and diesel. Well, if you're new to my channel, you probably haven't seen any of my other videos, but I have a lot of content on this. And if you've been around, then you kind of know my thoughts on it. And if you know as of recently yesterday, you really know where I'm heading with this video. So a lot of people want to know if I just recently switched to the Godzilla or gas engines and HD trucks. Well, no, I've been using gas trucks, V10 trucks, V8 trucks at work for a long time, pulling trailers and stuff like this. So this is not new to me. I've had plenty of gas engines in the past. But one thing that I will tell you is that I personally sold my 2016 Ram Cummins Mega Cab Thunder Striker truck that I special ordered. It was my baby, as my gift to myself a long time ago. Custom built and everything like that. I sold that a couple years ago, and I really have never looked back. I've had a couple diesels in between there, and with the modern emission stuff, I don't regret switching to a gasoline truck for my personal truck. Again, I use them at work. But people want to know, what do you know really about diesels? Well, me personally, I've owned just about every diesel by the big three in a long time. 12 valve Cummins, 24 valve Cummins, a 6.5 Detroit diesel in the GMs. Had a 6.2 liter long many moon ago. Let's see, had a 7.3 Powerstroke. I had a 6.0 Powerstroke. Actually, I think I've had two of those. I've had a 6.4 Powerstroke. I've had a 11.6.7 Powerstroke. I've had, let's see, the 6.7 Cummins that I've had were let's see here. I gotta think hard here. Those are going to be, I've had so many of them. Let's just say I've had one of those since 2001, 2005, 2006, 2010, 11, 13, 16, and then I had a new generation. See, as for the Duramax, I had a first gen 03. I had a 2013 LML. My father has a 2011 LML. I had an L5P 21. I had a 6.7 Powerstroke also in 21. So I've had them all. I've maintained them all and everything like that. I will tell you, is I did a rip yesterday, 1,200 miles, 19-hour trip in this truck. And surprisingly enough, these new generation gassers, and with Chevy bringing a 10-speed to their gasser, fuel economy is going to go up on that bad boy. But we're off a couple miles per gallon versus diesel versus gas on MPGs. Towing, it goes down. Yeah, you might be 4 or 5 off there, but at the end of the day, what I did see yesterday is diesel was anywhere between 60, it's actually like 40 cents to $1.50 a gallon more. So in theory, the trip probably was still cheaper running the gas. All right. I averaged going through the hills of Kins, Missouri, locked in at 80 mile an hour and doing several rips at close to 100 miles per hour. Sorry about that, but I had to do it to pass people. I still averaged almost 15 miles to the gallon. So very, very happy with that. Now, do I regret going from diesels? Diesels will always have a place, yes. If you're towing in excess of 20,000 pounds, yeah, you might be teetering on that. You get north of 22, 23, you're definitely in diesel territory. But the new gases from Ford this year are up in the 20 range, so you're good there still. And as I say, as long as you're going within the parameters of your truck, you'll be fine with no matter what. If the company's rating it as such, you'll be doing just fine. But I went out to Missouri to pick up a special order truck that I actually ordered before this. I purchased this Godzilla, and I was leery about purchasing a gas truck personally because I've never done such a thing in such a long time. It's always been you got to have a diesel to tow. So the truck finally came in, went out there, and within 5 minutes of sitting in it and 40 miles, it's either 40 or 70 miles on the brand new truck, it already needed a regen. And this is where the people look at diesels and think, well, if I have it, I can just go to school, pick up my kids, I can idle it in the driveway like I'm doing right now. I'm starting it, which you should be able to do, but unfortunately that clogs up that diesel emission system, your map sensors and stuff like that. Well, then it needs a regen, and you have to do it. If you don't do it and you shut it off, it's going to trap all that heat in there. All that emissions crap is going to stay in there, and it's going to cause issues. It also says it in Ford's owner's manual, Chevy's owner's manual, and Ram's owner's manual that if you don't practice, do the proper regens as needed, and you do that stuff, it's going to cause damage, which then can be a warranty claim they can deny. So this truck right here pulls just fine for everything I need it to do. If I needed it to pull more, I would actually, matter of fact, if I turned down the diesel yesterday and left it there, which will make some new owner very, very happy in a lot of regards. But if had I ordered it in the Godzilla, I probably would have brought it back, even though it had a blind spot that I didn't like and everything. I probably would have brought it back. Because personally, I'm glad I switched to diesel or gas, and I don't miss it one bit. People were saying in the past, well, it's much harder if you're towing a trailer to get into spots when you're towing a fifth wheel. Well, there were a lot of places when I went out there, smaller loves and everything like that, to Missouri, that actually there were fifth wheel diesel trucks stacked up in the same area. So there was no difference in the size of the island itself, but there were only 2 diesel pumps. So they were fighting over that and stacked up and blocking the whole parking lot, when if they had a gasser, they could have pulled in any of the other spots right next to it. So do I think that that's really an issue? Not really. Unless you're getting fuel back in the 50s, where stations are a little bit smaller. Back then, all the farm trucks and stuff like that were gas anyway, so they were easier to, they were expecting those trucks to get in there. So, at the end of the day, I don't miss it at all. Do I miss all the up trim stuff? This is an XLT truck. No, I don't. And the less swag you get in the cab, the less size of the truck you need to get, because all the weight you put in the truck for swag is extra weight that takes away from your payload and your trailering abilities. So I don't regret going gas. I actually highly recommend it. And then people, like said, every manufacturer's gonna have issues with their engine. So, the only one that's been out there a little bit is the 6.4 Hemi. It's been around for a little bit longer than the L8T and also this Godzilla and the Babyzilla. But I would recommend this truck every day of the week for doing what it needs to do. It pulls my fifth wheel fine. It brakes just fine. It does everything. And then when you're not towing and you're just doing your normal family stuff, this could actually be a commuter, your daily driver to work, because you don't have to worry about all of that soot buildup and regen stuff. So I really think that a gasser at this point makes more sense, especially for me. And do I see me owning a diesel in the future? Yes, for this channel, yes. But it's going to sit in the driveway the rest of the time, because I know it's not going to be good for it to drive it everywhere else. So that is my 2 cents on it. Like I said, I've enjoyed this so much that all the way out to trading this off on the diesel, I was actually cringing it. And that was a Lariat Ultimate, so that was leather loaded, everything like that. And I reset the fuel economy on the test drive, the 20-mile test drive on that pickup, and it got 12 miles to the gallon. So, you can see my fuel economy over 1,046 miles. I reset it about 300 miles in of driving, so that's why it's a little bit lower, because I stopped and got fuel outside of Colorado. And then I was like, oh, I need to keep this up so people can see it. So there we go. So on 14 hours of driving, 1,046 miles, 14.3 miles a gallon. Again, that was coming up in elevation, but I always keep my trip 2 set from the time I purchased it. So 149 idle and driving hours, and over almost 4,800 miles, I've averaged 13.7. So to put it in comparison, my V10s back in the day would probably get like 7 or 8 miles a gallon, 10 at best, ever, and they weren't even as powerful and or rated to tow as much. And keep in mind, these new gassers are actually rated to tow more than, say, a diesel from 2003 to 2010. This truck is rated as much as my dad's LML 3/4 ton. So the ability's here. They're continuing this progression, because I think we all know that the government's angle here is to outmode gas and shove us all into an electric something or other, but their first point of chopping block is the diesel. We all know that, and it's a sad day when that happens, but they're already working towards it. So if you guys like this content, head up to the search bar on my channel. So make sure you subscribe, head up to the search bar, and you can search all kinds of content. And then we're going to get doing some towing videos with this so we can show you. And you know, I think I actually might try and figure out how to put this truck against the 3 diesels that are topping the market right now. Do I think it's going to do just as good? Well, if you're talking about doing the speed limit, going up and down mountains, coming down the mountains with control and everything like that, yeah, I think it'll do just as good, and I'm going to show you. It's not about like the Ike Gauntlet Challenge where they're ripping up the hill, mashing the throttle and trying to see how fast they can get up to speed. We're just going to go up at normal, like normal people would drive, and see if this kind of vehicle will contend with those diesels. And then we're also going to get a Chevy gasser on the channel here. So subscribing does help me out. Hitting the notification also does help. And you know what? If you're a lady to this channel, subscribe. I want everybody that's involved in driving truck and enjoying truck videos to make sure that you're part of what I'm doing here. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.